As you get closer to your due date, you might want to think about down training your pelvic floor, or finding the place where you can inhale, let go, exhale, wrap the core, and still let go in your pelvic floor. I do this with all my clients when they get into like weeks 36 through 40 of their pregnancy, just to get them into that mindset of what it feels like in their body to push, but also relax the pelvic floor. Now this is hard because if you've been training with me for a while, you have been doing that cueing, exhale, lift the pelvic floor, wrap the core over and over and over again. That's what we do for the purpose of functional breath, functional core, and strengthening the core and pelvic floor to make sure that you can move optimally through pregnancy. But as you get into those later stages of pregnancy and you know that delivery and due date is coming up, you want to be able to connect to that pelvic floor in the opposite direction. So we are gonna go through a few exercises today, and it's gonna feel like a complete brain teaser. If you remember what it felt like when you first learned this breath about lifting, it's gonna feel like that. And you can layer this onto any of the workouts on the platform, or just take a few minutes every day to sit and breathe and focus on relaxing the pelvic floor as you wrap the belly. First step, diaphragmatic breathing always. You're gonna bring your hands to your lower two ribs. And I want you to feel that expansion laterally as you inhale. And let go. So take that a few times just so you know that your diaphragm is your main breathing muscle. You don't have a lot of upper chest and shoulder breath here. Expand that down into the belly. So you breathe in through your nose, fill the ribs and belly, and then think about relaxing the pelvic floor. And then exhale, just let go. Don't worry about any activation yet. And if you're not in a comfortable seat, move yourself to a chair, switch your legs, whatever you need to do, because we're gonna be here for a minute or two. Now, as you head into your exhale, I want you to think about wrapping those core muscles or using that zipper, lower, middle, upper abdominal wall. So the transverse is active, but then once you've got that hold on, I want you to see if you can relax or even practice bulging your pelvic floor. So the core is in, but the pelvic floor is pressing down and away versus up and in for that support of the core. Inhale, let that go. Relax your pelvic floor, relax your core. Exhale, I want you to wrap the belly. Hold that wrap. And then press down and away with your pelvic floor. If this feels very foreign in your body, head to the bathroom. The easiest place to feel this is on the toilet. So you practice wrapping and then releasing at the same time. And then you can come back to your mat. Take that a few more times. Inhale, fill ribs and belly. Relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, wrap the belly. Turn on those core muscles, and then turn off the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor has three functions. It can contract, relax, and bulge. Bulge is actually pressing down and away. So you can practice going through that relax to bulge position while your belly is wrapping. I'm gonna have you practice this in a laying down position as well. So come down to your side and bring a hand to the belly. Inhale, fill, release. Exhale, wrap the core. And then see if you can let go of the pelvic floor. Now you may find this more difficult to do, or it may be easier. The other thing you can do to help that pelvic floor relax is just lift up a knee and hug it towards you. So inhale, fill ribs and belly. Relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, hug the core in, and then see if you can press down and away, or just think of opening and releasing the pelvic floor. And once you've done this a few times on one side, I want you to actually switch and do it a few times on the other side. This is great information for your body when it comes time to labor and delivery, because you might find that you have trouble releasing your pelvic floor on one side over the other. And if that's the case, you just make a mental note that if you end up in a side lying position to push, wrap the core. You are gonna be more successful on one side over the other. Inhale, fill ribs and belly. Exhale, wrap the core. Press down, away, open, lengthen the pelvic floor. Great. And then I want you to try one more position. I'm gonna get you up onto all fours. Here, you can stay propped up. You can also bring your forearms down, which I find nice. Kind of just give yourself a few little sways. Inhale, fill ribs and belly. Exhale, wrap those core muscles in. And then try to release, relax, and open the pelvic floor. Inhale, fill ribs and belly. Exhale, core wraps. You wrap those core muscles, and then you can even imagine those core muscles pressing down and out to get the pelvic floor to let go. Great, and you don't have to stop at these two positions. I encourage you to stand up and try it, be walking and try it, get yourself into a nice deep squat position. This is a great place to practice that down training for the pelvic floor. Anywhere that you feel is gonna be helpful. If you know that you're going to be moving through labor and you have a few different options for delivery as far as positioning goes, test out all those positions. Make sure that you can take the time before you get to that day to practice relaxing, bearing down, releasing, opening, and letting go.